is there approval of the minutes from our, October meeting?
Actually be December 1st.
Sorry, December, sorry, yeah. I'm scrambling to find the agenda in my inbox. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes from December?
Sure, I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, perfect. Any corrections, additions, changes? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your hand. Aye. All those nay? Nay. All right, that passes. All right, first item of business is Friends of San Damiano's application for tourism funding. Wes is here to discuss that. Since I'm so closely tied to it, I tried not to show up for the first part of the meeting, but I'm gonna go to a waiting room so you guys can openly discuss it without me being present. So I will turn it over to, is our Vice Chair Christy?
It's Mike.
Or no, it's Mike, but Christy's our secretary, so you're
Oh.
next in line.
Okay,
So,
good.
all right, and then I'll see you guys soon.
All right, Wes, we'll turn it over to you.
All right, well, thank you for the opportunity to bring this application forward. And this is, we're seeking grant funds in support of our upcoming event to be held at San Damiano. And it's a collaboration with the city, the Friends of San Damiano, and the Ho-Chunk Nation. And really the goal for the event is to activate the property, bring awareness to the city's new public asset, San Damiano, and also showcase and bring awareness to the Ho-Chunk tradition of the snow snake games, and really try to bring some people out of their houses outside and have a fun winter event on Friday. So we've been actively publicizing this, hoping for as many as 200 people. We're thrilled to know that we have Ho-Chunk members coming from Black River Falls and as far as Nebraska, which is great to hear. And really the funds, the budget is pretty self-explanatory. The funds are going to be used to support offset some of the event costs, supplies, some of the equipment we need. We're going to have to run a bus from the high school, porta potty, want to make sure there's some bathrooms, and some of our food and beverage. So pretty standard event types of expenses. And the friends we'll be sharing, paying for some, offsetting the budget as well. But our hope is that these funds will allow us to save some of our funds for our upcoming needs in terms of master planning for the property and all the things that we will be doing in the future. So that's it in a thumbnail sketch. Happy to answer questions.
Yeah, this is a super exciting event. Thank you so much for bringing it forward. Love seeing all the collaboration even with the school district, and being able to use their bus service. I think having the shuttle, there was no other way, right? So that was great to see. 1 second. Okay, now go from mean mommy voice to nice council member voice. All right, so I think I only had a couple questions. One was I just only for clarification, I saw like your estimated total on the budget was 1,470, but you're only asking for 1,000. And so I was just curious, like, is that where the Friends group is going to cover that remainder?
Yep.
Or
Okay. We're planning to cover the remainder. Yep.
And you don't want to just request the full amount?
I mean, I'm sure we would accept support for the entire budget. I think, this is, new for us. And so I think wanting to be submitting an amount that seemed appropriate. And but heck, if there's more support, we would certainly take it. I do know that our costs are coming in roughly on target. So I think a $1,500 budget is probably where we're going to end up. So I'd be happy to amend our request if that's your recommendation.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to make sure because I mean, we don't have a lot of money in that room tax fund because the hotels, it's been that world. But definitely want, know the position you're in fundraising and all of that. But I'd love to hear Colleen's thoughts on this.
Whether or not we should cover the whole cost, is your question?
Yeah, or just your thoughts in general about the budget and the event.
I mean, first of all, I agree with Christy. The event looks incredible. I love all the partnership. I am wondering what kind of feedback have you been getting, say on Facebook and things like that?
It's been positive. I haven't been in all of those discussions, but I do know that there's a ton of work going into this and a lot of volunteer hours. And I know that there's, I'm not the most avid social media person, but I've seen it out there and I've seen, and I know that we're generating some awareness. So, and I'm, promoting it too. So I think it's been positive.
And is weather a concern at all?
So what I do know is we're actually, and Brian might know some more of the details on this, but we're going to make sure there's snow and ice. And I think we even have, if we need to, we're going to make our own.
Yeah, it's a great question. Something we've been kind of wrestling with yesterday, and we mentioned this at City Council last night. Kind of two different options. Our preferred option, just in terms of person power and how we can kind of control work schedules, is Public Works has offered up their time and equipment to move snow, some existing snow from a number of our larger snow piles at Ahuska and Lattice Park and a couple other places in town, and kind of plop some snow at the San Damiano site so that it can be used to shape the snow snake course. If because of the weather today and the rain, if those snow piles have diminished to the point where we can't get much out of it. The second alternative, which is a bit more complicated, is there's some snow makers that we can borrow from the city of Madison. The problem is we've never used that. There's a hydrant that we could hook onto, but there's not. I don't know that there's a utility easement that we can stay within to get it to the property. There's a hydrant over on the dead end street right next to San Damiano, but I think we'd have to get permission from a private property owner to get the line over to the property. And quite frankly, we're not sure how those snowmaker machines, how much time they take to use. So our preference is to use existing snow if we can, and if not, we'll obviously make it work with the snowmakers. But we've got a couple different options we're taking a look at.
Got it. Then to circle back to answer Christy's question, I think, now I haven't been on this commission terribly long, but based on the existing budget we have, based on how great these partnerships are, and what I think the event's going to bring, especially to San Diego, it seems like a very reasonable ask to go for $1,500 to me. That's just my opinion.
And just for a point of information for the commission members in terms of the budget that we've got, with the last approval that we did for the ice fishing event for Mezba December, at our last meeting, we have roughly $45,000 left in this existing budget. So yeah, if you wanted to amend the budget to do $1,500, that's more than fine.
Okay. All right, I respectfully increase our request to $1,500.
Yeah, I think I feel like we're probably going to see a lot of events this year. It's hard to know, but it seems like things are opening up. We will see that. But this being such a unique offering, I would be in full support of that as well. One other question I had, I know Bill Quackenbush reached out to me and just asked about, he asked if I'd come over on Friday morning to help him set up. I was wondering, is he being compensated in any way for his work? I saw like the dinner and the overnight, but I was just curious because I know he is a in-demand person in the state of Wisconsin. And I just, as a person of color, I would like to make sure we're compensating him in some way.
Yep. The plan is to cover his dinner and room. That's in the budget. Over his overnight stay and dinner, I know is in the budget. So that's what we've got in there.
Would you be open to if let's say we give you $1,500, if maybe $150 you give for his time or something? I think that's kind of one of the basic tenets of DEI work and making sure we're supporting people of color and not exploiting their talents and time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, if the commission wants to make a recommendation on what that figure should be, and if that's agreeable to Mr. Quackenbush, I think that's absolutely appropriate.
Awesome. I think that would be great. And I mean, this is just such a valuable partnership, and his expertise is just so great to have. That I guess I would like to propose that we increase the budget to $1,500 with $150 going to Bill Quackenbush to use as he
As an honorarium. Yep.
Yeah, and he can donate it to some organization if he wants to, but something.
Yep.
Excellent. Colleen, any other thoughts or questions for Wes? Or Wes, do you have any other questions for us?
No, I would just also add that I think we've been talking with Bill about this being an annual thing. So I think that's just so it's great for this to be a successful first round. This is awesome. I appreciate the support.
And more to the point, we've had conversations with Mr. Quackenbush as well, and this could be one in a number of events. As Alder Goforth mentioned, likelihood of some additional events with the Ho-Chunk Nation this summer. That there's an event that Mr. Quackenbush has been working on with a dugout canoe and doing kind of a tour of the Four Lakes area. That's something that's kind of in the initial stages on their end, and we're happy to be a host of whatever group wants to come through at some point, whether this summer or fall. I've already expressed that to him before, and recommit that every time I see him. So yeah, like I said, this is probably the first in a number of events we'll do.
Awesome. I just wanted to mention, I know Arvina's mentioned in the packet as having been invited to participate. She is starting a new job that day, and so she's actually coming to my house that day as well. So if she can make it, we're gonna head over together. And then other tribes, in addition to the Ho-Chunk, do the snow snake game. So as a Great Lakes tribal member myself, my tribe does. And then I'm also going to be inviting David O'Connor, who's Ojibwe from the Bad River Reservation. So I'll be bringing a little tribe of my own it'll be other tribal members, but I think that'll be a kind of a cool way to support it as well.
Awesome.
Some good representation throughout the Great Lakes region. So if any other comments or questions, we can just put this up for a vote. Okay. So with those amendments, I will move to approve this. And I guess it's kind of awkward when there's only two of us. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And who's
And approved unanimously. So.
Yeah. Swimmingly. Wonderful.
Okay.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Wes, anything else you need from us?
Oh, appreciate the support very much. Thanks so much.
Okay. And hopefully, I'm hopeful that the snow sprayer will work, especially if this is going to be an annual event. It'd be nice to have a test run first, but yeah, I'm excited to hear it's an annual event.
You'd have to move it to January, right?
Maybe so.
Yeah, good point.
After the lake freezes, though.
All right.
You got to really work with the weather gods on this.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much for bringing this to us.
Yep. See you later.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you.
Okay, bringing Andrew back in.
All right. Good to go?
Yep, good to go.
All right. We'll move on to our next new business item, discussion of process to address potential conflicts of interest for commission members. I know Alder Goforth, you wanted this on the agenda, and I don't know if you discussed with Brian, or I'll turn it over to you two to kind of kick this discussion off.
Yeah, I had some time to kind of noodle on this a little bit, and I've got a couple thoughts of ways to address this. And again, it's always good for boards and commissions to have a process in place. And I know, Christy, you've dealt with this in the boards you've been on, and I'm sure Andrew and Colleen in the various nonprofits that you've served on in the past. I think for our purposes, we should handle this probably two ways. One, at the beginning of each kind of cycle when the commission membership turns over, like every April, let's just say, kind of pick a definitive point, like end of April or beginning of May, when the commission's new each year. We should just have the membership disclose at their first meeting the various boards that they're on that may be organizations that might put in a future application for tourism dollars, just so that's publicly on the record and be reflected in the minutes. And then if we get to a situation like we had today where your board actually is coming forth with a funding request, the proper procedure would be to do what Chair Kitzler did, which is to make a disclosure for the meeting that he or she or they will not be participating in the meeting, and then physically either be in the virtual rating room or not be in the room during the actual discussion itself. And then once the discussion on that particular application is complete, then you're more than welcome to come back on the room. But that's the procedure I've seen done in my other time in municipalities. That's probably the best course of action for us.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I was thinking, it could be less formal and we just have a standing item on the agenda saying, does anyone need to disclose any conflicts? And we know that none of us are being financially, it's not financial conflicts. It's more conflicts of maybe influence and power, so I think it's just always good to be very transparent on those.
Yeah, I think we could add, like you said, a standing agenda item at the beginning of the meeting, where if anyone needed to announce one, you can do it there. And then if, it's part, like, for example, when we get to our fall, typical review, that would be the place where you physically recuse yourself, which makes sense.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say sometimes it's nice just to have it on the agenda so you don't forget as a reminder, otherwise it can get forgotten.
One point of clarification I'm interested in kind of discussing maybe a little bit further is relationships with MESBA. I know I'm on their board, but we're required to have somebody from, well, at least when the formation of the commission was created, somebody from MESBA was always a part of it. And then you think about the hotel, they usually are a part of MESBA as well. And then, ancillary, there might be other people that are a part of it because you can actually join not just as a business, but also as a member. So I'm interested in that because if we recuse ourselves, we might not even have quorum at the end of the day for those types of decisions. So I'm interested in kind of thoughts behind that.
Yeah, I'll spend some more time taking a look at what that would mean for individual organizations like that. Again, as Alder Goforth mentioned, because you as the individual are not benefiting financially, there isn't a technical conflict of interest. It's more a conflict of interest perception. Being a member of a board that could be receiving funding. So I think the first order of business of disclosing that that membership is always the best practice. Whether or not it rises to the level of needing to recuse yourself, I think that's more of a legal question that I can kind of run down some more information on.
Yeah, and I think membership in an organization, I don't think that's a conflict. I mean, because we're all, a member of something, so I think that's a little too broad, but more if you're on the board, if you're employed, really tight association to leadership, let's just say that, or close association to leadership is what I would say.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be interested in kind of what legalities are behind that too, as you said, Brian, kind of searching at that, because I'm just thinking, at one time I think we had 2 MESBA board members on this commission at least, and so then what does that leave 3 other commission members? So I don't know, more thinking about that, and then also maybe we think about the mayor thinks about the composition of the commission as well, and making sure that quorum is always able to be had. So
I'm trying to remember who the MESBA board members were. I'm going through my head thinking.
Also myself, and then
Prior.
there was the former Avid manager,
Jason?
Not Jason. Who was the one right after? Just
Jordan.
She just stepped up.
Oh, Susan.
Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Susan, she was never really on our board. She did agree, but she had never shown up. So, but I guess on paper, it's
Sure.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. It is tricky with the tourism and being such a small community and having such a small commission, I suppose.
Yep.
And everyone being so involved.
Yeah, so I'll do some more work on that, and the next time we meet, we can have a more fuller discussion on that.
Yeah.
Sounds
And I think
good.
just stating, I'm on the board of this organization, so, that's all I was looking for, just so
Okay.
it's out there and on the record.
Sure. That seems very reasonable. Any other further conversation on that? All right, seeing none. Discussion items to include in future agendas. Is there anything?
I might have one, actually, maybe two. We have the vibrant hydrants. It's not really a tourism thing, but it's more of a local tourism thing. So vibrant hydrants, it's a project that I'm working with through Madison Public Art Project. And we've gotten all the approvals through Public Works, and it's a collaborative event with the Monona Fire Department where it will roll out the weekend of September 11th. Because I don't believe in the past we've really ever done anything on September 11th for our fire department in acknowledgement of the people that were lost on that day. And so we are having 10 to 15 of the hydrants painted by local artists, and those are underrepresented artists. And it'll be kind of a weekend-long event. Jerry McMullen, our fire chief, will lead the fire truck parade, kind of going around the hydrants. And then we'll have artist talks happening at the hydrants. So the artists will stand at the hydrants. Hopefully people will bike around the community, and then they'll talk about their inspiration for the art. So just something as, to note. And then another one that we just got approval. I'm working with Jillian a lot here because Momentum Art Tech has closed their doors when they thought that strip mall was going to be torn down. But the other one is we got approvals from, okay, one second. That was my silent megaphone. The other one is we got approval to put street art on the columns that support the Beltline Highway at Monona Drive. So they call them piers. There are 6 piers there. And the local female street artist named Audi Fax, she painted the mural that's facing Ken's Meats and Deli. She painted a mural on the side of Harley's Liquor on Atwood. She's done art all over, and really all over the world. She spent a lot of time over in Spain and Barcelona, and you can see her art there. But so she's going to put a really just a lovely design on those piers. It's yellow and blue. It's called Riding the Waves. And it's going to really be nice and kind of brighten up that area. But just something else that's kind of maybe a little bit touristy. Street art definitely brings tourists into our area. So just alerting you to those 2 things coming forward.
Awesome. I look forward to them. Any additional items from anybody? All right. Our next upcoming meeting is TBD. Is there a motion? Oh.
Yeah, likely June or July is when we were thinking once some of the events that we had funded in the fall round have wrapped up, they'd come in and give their kind of post-event summation for us. So that likely sometime in June or July would be our next meeting.
Sounds good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, hearing none. We're adjourned.